Have you ever felt like you're constantly chasing after approval? Do you find it hard to feel at peace in the noise and chaos of everyday life? What if you could stop chasing and start living, feeling true peace from within? Welcome to Son.Mindfulness, where we explore the timeless wisdom of Buddhism to help you transform your life. In today's world, many of us are overwhelmed by stress, pressure, and the constant need to meet expectations. But what if there was a way to break free from that cycle? In this video, we'll explore 12 Buddhist principles that can help you let go of these burdens and lead a more peaceful, fulfilled life. These principles are not just spiritual concepts, they're practical tools for navigating life's challenges. They can help you detach from the need to control, embrace pain as a pathway to growth, and simplify your life in a way that fosters true inner peace. If you've been feeling stuck, anxious, or overwhelmed, these principles offer a fresh approach. They provide a way to shift your mindset, allowing you to face life's difficulties with calmness and clarity. At Son.Mindfulness, we believe that transformation begins from within. Our channel is dedicated to bringing you tools, wisdom, and practices that will help you cultivate mindfulness, compassion, and peace in your daily life. If this resonates with you, please subscribe and join our community. We're here to support you on your journey to better mental health and emotional well-being. Stay with us until the end of this video, where we'll dive into how these principles can immediately impact your life and help you create lasting change. Are you ready to begin your transformation? Let's explore the first principle together. Part 1. Detach from the illusion of control. How often do you find yourself trying to control things that simply can't be controlled? We've all been there. We strive to make everything perfect, to ensure that people behave the way we want them to, and to make sure life goes according to our plan. But here's the reality. Life is unpredictable, and people are imperfect. When we try to control the uncontrollable, we set ourselves up for frustration, anxiety, and pain. And yet, we continue to cling to this illusion of control. Why? The truth is, much of our suffering comes from this desire to control. We think that if we can control everything around us, we'll feel safer, more secure, or more at peace. But Buddhism teaches us something powerful. The more you try to control, the more you suffer. When you hold on to expectations and outcomes, you set yourself up for disappointment when things don't unfold as planned. Think about it for a moment. How many times have you been disappointed because someone didn't act the way you expected? Or perhaps you felt frustrated when life took an unexpected turn. The truth is, we often try to control others, circumstances, or the future, but life always has its own plans. Real-life example. Consider the example of a parent trying to control the behavior of their teenage child. You may have the best intentions, wanting your child to succeed, make the right decisions, and stay on the right path. You offer advice, set boundaries, and try to guide them every step of the way. But despite your best efforts, they may still make mistakes, or worse, rebel. It's easy to feel frustrated and even helpless in those moments. But imagine for a moment if, instead of trying to control your child's every move, you let go of the need to control them. Instead of trying to impose your will, what if you simply allowed them to make their own choices, supporting them without judgment? By releasing your grip on the situation, you open the door to peace, not only for them, but also for yourself. Another example could be in your professional life. Perhaps you've experienced a situation where things just weren't going right. The project you worked so hard on fell apart, or a colleague didn't perform as expected. You tried to control every detail, but still, things went wrong. Now, imagine the relief that could come from releasing that need to control the outcome. Instead of stressing over what can't be controlled, you can focus on your own actions and responses, which are always within your power. Practical application. So what can we do about this need for control? The first step is simple but powerful. Let go. Let go of trying to control others' actions or the way life unfolds. Instead of clinging tightly to expectations, try surrendering to the flow of life. This doesn't mean giving up on your goals or abandoning responsibility. It means choosing to accept that you cannot control everything. You can control how you respond to challenges, but not the challenges themselves. This shift in mindset creates a profound sense of peace. You stop wasting energy trying to force outcomes, and instead, you become more present in the moment. You begin to see life not as a battle to control, but as an experience to be navigated with grace. How does this help reduce frustration? When we stop trying to control, we stop fighting against reality. We stop pushing against the natural flow of things. This shift allows us to experience life as it is, not as we think it should be. And in that acceptance, we find freedom. When you relinquish the need to control, you'll notice how much more peaceful and calm you feel. You'll become less reactive to the unpredictability of life and more at ease with the unknown. Now, let's move forward together and explore the next principle. Part 2. Sit with yourself, not your distractions. This next part is about the importance of finding peace within yourself, away from the constant distractions of the world. Stay tuned as we dive deeper into how to connect with your inner self. Part 2. Sit with yourself, not your distractions. How many times have you reached for your phone simply to avoid a moment of silence, or found yourself glued to the TV, scrolling endlessly through social media just to drown out your thoughts? In today's world, distractions are everywhere. We've become so accustomed to noise, both external and internal, that we forget what it's like to simply be with ourselves. But what if the key to inner peace isn't in filling every moment with noise or activity? What if it's in the stillness? Explanation of the principle. Buddhism teaches us that true healing and transformation happen when we stop running from ourselves. When was the last time you truly sat in silence, without distractions? It might feel uncomfortable at first, even unnerving. But this discomfort is where the magic happens. We are so used to the constant hum of notifications, news, and the noise of the outside world. We've forgotten the power of solitude. And yet, it's in these quiet moments that we can truly connect with our deepest selves. Imagine for a moment that you decide to take a few minutes every day to sit in silence. No phone, no TV, no conversations, just you and your thoughts. At first, it may feel awkward. Your mind might race. You might feel the urge to check your phone or find something to do. But with time, you'll notice something profound happening. The noise of the world will begin to fade, and in that silence, you'll begin to hear your own inner voice. Illustrative story. Let me tell you a story about a man named Thich Nhat Hanh, a Buddhist monk and peace activist who spent many years in solitude. In his youth, he was constantly surrounded by the demands of his community and the world. Like many of us, he struggled with the noise, both external and internal. He was always busy, always doing, always serving. But it was during a silent retreat in the mountains that Thich Nhat Hanh had a breakthrough. He had always been deeply connected to the teachings of Buddhism, but in that moment of complete silence, he realized something essential. He was not just the sum of his actions or his thoughts. He was more. In that stillness, he found clarity, peace, and a deeper connection to his purpose in life. Through this experience, he learned that true transformation doesn't come from constant doing, but from simply being. By embracing solitude, he could hear his inner wisdom clearly. And in that wisdom, he found the strength to lead, to teach, and to inspire others. Benefits of solitude. So what can we learn from this? Spending time alone isn't just about being by yourself. It's about reconnecting with your true essence. When we spend time in solitude, we allow ourselves the space to reflect, to heal, and to grow. In the quiet, we can process our emotions, understand our desires, and confront our fears. Without the constant distractions, we can see things more clearly, with a new perspective. Solitude also allows us to discover who we really are, without the influence of others. It's easy to get lost in the noise of other people's expectations, opinions, and judgments. But when we sit alone, we can strip away those layers and reconnect with our true self. Emotional healing happens in solitude. By sitting with our feelings, whether they're uncomfortable or painful, we allow ourselves to heal. Running away from discomfort only prolongs it, but when we sit with it, without judgment, it starts to transform. Practical application. So how can you apply this in your life? Start small. Begin by setting aside just 10 minutes a day to sit in silence. No distractions, no agenda, just you. Allow yourself to sit with whatever arises. It may feel uncomfortable at first, but that's okay. The more you practice, the more comfortable you'll become in your own presence. Over time, this practice will help you connect with your inner peace, your true self. You'll begin to notice that you no longer need to rely on external noise for comfort. Instead, you'll find peace within, and that peace will guide you through life's challenges. As we move forward, let's explore the next principle. Part 3. Embrace the pain that rebuilds you. In this section, we'll dive into how pain, when embraced, can be a powerful tool for transformation and growth. Stay tuned as we explore how pain can reshape us into stronger versions of ourselves. Part 3. Embrace the pain that rebuilds you. We often try to avoid pain at all costs. We view it as something bad, something to fix or escape. But what if I told you that pain, instead of being your enemy, could be your greatest ally? What if pain is the key to unlocking your growth and transformation? Explanation of the principle. In Buddhism, pain is not something to be feared. It's a teacher, a guide, a reminder that something inside us is being reshaped. Think about the process of a seed growing into a tree. The seed must first break open before it can grow. It must experience the pain of being cracked open in order to push its roots into the ground and reach for the sky. The same is true for us. Growth requires breaking through old patterns, beliefs, and attachments. But this process of growth is often uncomfortable. And yet, it's in the discomfort that we find strength. We all experience pain at some point in our lives. Loss, disappointment, failure. But Buddhism teaches us to look at pain through a different lens. Instead of running from it, we can sit with it and allow it to teach us. Illustrative story. Let me share a story about Nelson Mandela, one of the greatest leaders of the 20th century. Mandela spent 27 years in prison for his fight against apartheid in South Africa. For years, he endured physical pain, emotional turmoil, and the loneliness of imprisonment. But rather than succumbing to bitterness and hatred, Mandela embraced his pain. He used those years in prison to reflect, to grow, and to strengthen his resolve. Through his suffering, he emerged not as a broken man, but as one of the most influential leaders in the world. Mandela famously said, "I am not a saint, unless you think of a saint as a sinner who keeps on trying." His time in prison didn't break him. It rebuilt him. It shaped his strength, resilience, and wisdom. He learned that pain could not defeat him, but could instead empower him to lead his people to freedom. Benefits of embracing pain. So what are the benefits of embracing pain rather than avoiding it? First, it helps us build resilience. When we face pain head-on, without trying to numb it or run from it, we develop the strength to endure future challenges. We learn that we are capable of handling more than we thought. Second, pain reveals what truly matters to us. Sometimes it's only through loss or hardship that we come to understand what we value most. A painful breakup can teach us the importance of self-love. A failure can reveal the need for perseverance. By sitting with our pain, we allow ourselves to uncover the deeper truths about who we are and what we want in life. Third, pain offers us the opportunity to heal. When we avoid pain, we often bury it deep inside, where it festers and grows. But when we face it, We give ourselves the chance to heal. We allow ourselves to process and let go, freeing ourselves from the past. Practical application. So how can you embrace pain rather than avoid it? The first step is to stop labeling pain as bad. Recognize that it's a natural part of the human experience and that it carries wisdom. Next, when you face pain, whether it's emotional, physical, or mental, don't run from it. Sit with it. Allow yourself to feel it fully, without judgment. This doesn't mean wallowing in pain, but simply acknowledging its presence and listening to what it has to teach you. Ask yourself, what is this pain trying to show me? What lesson can I learn from this experience? By approaching pain with curiosity instead of fear, you'll find that it becomes a source of strength and insight. Embracing pain doesn't mean that you enjoy it or that it's easy. It simply means that you allow it to transform you into a wiser, stronger, and more compassionate person. As we continue on our journey, let's move into the next principle. Part 4. Simplify your life, amplify your spirit. In this section, we'll explore how simplicity can lead to greater peace and a stronger connection with your inner self. Join me as we uncover the power of living with less, but experiencing more. Part 4. Simplify your life, amplify your spirit. In a world that constantly tells us to want more, do more, and be more, simplicity can seem like a weakness. But in Buddhism, simplicity is not a step backward. It's a return to clarity and peace. What if the key to a more fulfilling life isn't about adding more things or experiences, but about letting go of the clutter? Explanation of the principle. Buddhism teaches us that desire is the root of suffering. This doesn't just refer to material possessions, but also to the craving for more recognition, validation, and even distractions. We often fill our lives with stuff, things, obligations, relationships, and noise, believing that more will bring us happiness. But the truth is, the more we accumulate, the more we become weighed down. Think about your daily life. How many things do you carry, physically, mentally, emotionally, that you don't truly need? The clutter in your home, the overcommitments in your schedule, the toxic people in your life, these things drain your energy. Buddhism teaches us that to live more fully, we must first make space. Illustrative story. There's a story of a famous Zen monk, Hakuin, who lived a life of simplicity. He had very little material wealth, and yet he was known for his great wisdom and peace. One day, a villager came to him and said, "Master, I want to live a life like yours. I want to be as peaceful as you are." Hakuin looked at the villager and asked, "What is it that you value most in life?" The villager replied, "My possessions, my family, my status." Hakuin then told him, "If you want to experience true peace, you must be willing to give up all that you cling to. Only then will you experience the clarity you seek." This story illustrates how the pursuit of more can often blind us to the peace and wisdom that already exist within us. By letting go of what no longer serves us, we can make room for what truly matters. Benefits of simplicity. The benefits of simplifying our lives are profound. First, simplicity frees up mental and emotional space. When we let go of unnecessary possessions and commitments, we create room for clarity, reflection, and growth. Second, simplicity helps us focus on what truly brings us joy. Rather than chasing after fleeting pleasures or external validation, we learn to appreciate the present moment and the simple things in life: nature, relationships, inner peace. Finally, living simply allows us to live more authentically. When we strip away the distractions, we reconnect with our true selves and can act from a place of inner strength and wisdom. Practical application. Start by looking at your life and asking yourself, what is essential? What can you let go of that no longer serves your highest good? Simplify your surroundings, your schedule, and your relationships. Focus on depth over quantity, and choose the things that nourish your spirit rather than drain your energy. Simplifying your life isn't about depriving yourself. It's about creating space to experience more of what truly matters. As we move forward, let's explore the next principle. Part 5. Become the observer, not the reactor. In this section, we'll discuss how observing our emotions rather than reacting to them can lead to greater emotional mastery and peace. Stay tuned as we delve deeper into how mindfulness and awareness can transform your responses to life's challenges. Part 5. Become the observer, not the reactor. How often do you react impulsively when something triggers you? A harsh comment, a stressful situation, or even a small inconvenience can send us into a spiral of emotions. But what if, instead of reacting, you chose to observe? What if you could step back from your emotions and simply watch them without judgment? Explanation of the principle. Buddhism teaches that we are not our thoughts or emotions, we are the one who observes them. Most people, however, get swept up by their emotions. When anger arises, we react. When fear appears, we panic. But the moment you start identifying with your emotions, you lose control. Instead of being the observer, you become the prisoner. This is where mindfulness comes in. By practicing mindfulness, we can create a space between the stimulus, the thing that triggers us, and our response. In that space, we have the power to choose how we react. It's not about suppressing emotions, but rather acknowledging them without becoming overwhelmed by them. Illustrative story. Take the story of the Buddha. Before his enlightenment, he lived a life full of attachments and reactions. He would react to everything, his desires, his fears, and his emotions. But during his meditation under the Bodhi tree, he learned to simply observe his thoughts and emotions rather than reacting to them. One day, while meditating, Mara, the demon of illusion, appeared to distract him with fears and desires. Instead of reacting, the Buddha remained calm, observing the temptations without letting them control him. In that moment, he realized that his power lay in his ability to stay still and observe, not to react. This moment of stillness was pivotal for his enlightenment. It showed him that by mastering his response, he could find peace even in the most challenging situations. Benefits of being the observer. By becoming the observer of your emotions, you gain freedom. You no longer feel controlled by your reactions. Instead of letting anger dictate your actions, you can choose peace. Instead of letting fear hold you back, you can move forward with confidence. This practice allows you to break free from the automatic patterns of behavior that lead to suffering. You can respond consciously rather than impulsively. In doing so, you create more space for clarity, understanding, and growth. Practical application. So how can you begin to practice this? Start by simply observing your emotions. When you feel anger rising, instead of reacting immediately, take a moment to breathe and observe the feeling. Where do you feel it in your body? What thoughts are associated with it? By noticing these details without judgment, you create a distance between you and the emotion. This space allows you to respond in a way that aligns with your highest values, rather than being driven by impulse. With time and practice, this habit will become second nature. You'll find yourself reacting less and responding with more wisdom and calm. As we move forward, let's explore the next principle. Part 6. Let go of the self that no longer serves you. In this part, we'll discuss how shedding old identities and limiting beliefs can help you step into the person you are meant to be. Join me as we uncover the power of transformation and growth. Part 6. Let go of the self that no longer serves you. How often do you find yourself holding on to old versions of yourself that no longer serve you? Perhaps you identify with the shy version of yourself or the not good enough version because that's who you've always been. But what if these versions of you are holding you back from becoming who you're truly meant to be? Explanation of the principle. Buddhism teaches that our self is not fixed. We are constantly evolving. Yet many of us hold on to identities created by past experiences, wounds, or labels from others. We identify with the person we once were or the labels others have given us, and we cling to them even when they no longer reflect our true nature. These identities, shaped by past pain, fear, or disappointment, can limit us. The person you were yesterday is not the person you have to be today. But in order to grow, you must let go of the old version of yourself, the one that holds on to limiting beliefs or past failures. Illustrative story. Consider the story of Mahatma Gandhi. Gandhi was not always the fearless, wise leader we remember him as. In his early years, he struggled with self-doubt and fear. He even failed his first law exam. But instead of clinging to the label of failure, he decided to reinvent himself, embracing the idea that he could change, grow, and evolve into the leader he would eventually become. As he let go of his old self, Gandhi transformed into the symbol of peace and nonviolence that inspired millions. He was not defined by his past mistakes or the person he once was. Instead, he became the person who was capable of leading a nation to independence. Benefits of letting go of the old self. When you let go of the version of yourself that no longer serves you, you open up space for growth. You allow yourself to step into a new chapter, free from the limitations of your past. By shedding old identities, you also free yourself from the emotional baggage tied to them. The weight of past failures, regrets, or self-doubt no longer holds you back. Instead, you embrace the freedom to become who you truly are, without the need to be defined by past versions of yourself. Practical application. So, how can you begin to let go of the self that no longer serves you? Start by identifying the labels or beliefs that limit you. What parts of your past are you still holding on to? Maybe it's a past failure, a relationship, or the belief that you're not capable of achieving something. Once you've identified these limiting beliefs, start challenging them. Ask yourself, is this belief still true? Can I change this part of myself? What would happen if I let go of this identity and embraced a new, more empowering version of myself? Remember, growth happens when we release what no longer serves us. The person you are today doesn't have to be the person you were yesterday. As we continue our journey, let's move on to the next principle. Part 7. Learn the power of walking alone. In this section, we'll explore how solitude can lead to self-discovery and inner strength. Stay tuned as we dive into the power of walking your own path. Part 7. Learn the power of walking alone. Have you ever felt completely alone, as though no one truly understands you? In a world that emphasizes connection, loneliness can feel like a burden. But what if being alone is not something to fear, but an opportunity for deep personal growth? Explanation of the principle. Buddhism teaches that solitude is not an enemy. It is a path to self-discovery, clarity, and inner peace. When we walk alone, without the distractions of others, expectations, or judgments, we can reconnect with our true selves. The power of walking alone lies in the freedom it offers. Without the need to please others or conform to external pressures, you can fully listen to your inner voice. In solitude, you can reflect on your life, your values, and your direction, free from the influence of others. Illustrative story. Consider the life of Siddhartha Gautama, better known as the Buddha. Before his enlightenment, Siddhartha was a prince living a life of comfort and luxury. But despite his privileges, he felt a deep inner emptiness. He decided to leave his palace, walking alone in search of answers to life's deeper questions. Through years of solitude, meditation, and self-reflection, Siddhartha discovered the path to enlightenment. By walking alone, he found the truth, not through the approval or advice of others, but by looking within himself. His journey shows us that walking alone can lead to the greatest discoveries about who we truly are. Benefits of walking alone. When you learn to walk alone, you gain independence and strength. You no longer rely on others for validation or direction. Solitude allows you to cultivate a deep sense of self-worth and confidence. Moreover, walking alone provides the space to heal. It is in solitude that we can process pain, reflect on past experiences, and reconnect with our purpose. Practical application. Start by embracing moments of solitude. Take a walk by yourself or spend time in quiet reflection. Rather than seeking constant company or distractions, use this time to listen to your inner voice. You'll find that in these moments of aloneness, you'll discover your own strength and clarity. As we continue, let's explore the next principle. Part 8. Choose mindfulness over multitasking. In this section, we'll dive into how mindfulness can help you live more fully in the present moment. Join me as we discover the power of slowing down and being truly present. Part 8. Choose mindfulness over multitasking. In a world that celebrates multitasking, we often think that doing more means achieving more. We juggle tasks, check our phones, and rush through life, thinking we're being productive. But what if, instead of spreading ourselves thin, we focused on being fully present in each moment? Explanation of the principle. Buddhism teaches the power of mindfulness, being fully engaged in whatever you are doing without distraction. Rather than dividing your attention between multiple tasks, mindfulness encourages you to focus on the present moment. When we multitask, we split our energy and we end up missing the richness of life. Mindfulness allows us to truly experience life in its fullness. When we eat, we eat. When we walk, we walk. Every moment becomes an opportunity to connect deeply with the world around us. Illustrative story. Consider the story of Thich Nhat Hanh, a renowned Zen master. He teaches that when you wash the dishes, don't just wash them to get it over with. Be mindful. Feel the water, notice the soap, and savor the sensation of your hands moving through the warm water. In that simple act, you can find peace and joy. It's not about what you do, but how you do it. Benefits of mindfulness. Mindfulness slows us down and helps us appreciate the little things. It reduces stress, improves focus, and allows us to live with intention. By being present, we can deepen our relationships, find peace, and reconnect with ourselves. Practical application. To practice mindfulness, start with small moments. When you're eating, don't rush through your meal. When you're talking to someone, give them your full attention. By practicing mindfulness in these small moments, you'll begin to experience life more fully. Next, we'll move on to part 9, accept what is and change what you can, where we'll explore how accepting reality can help you find peace. Part 9, accept what is and change what you can. How often do we fight against reality, wishing things were different? We dwell on the past, regret decisions, or hold on to anger over things we can't change. But what if true peace comes from accepting life as it is and focusing on what we can control? Explanation of the principle. Buddhism teaches us the importance of acceptance. Acceptance doesn't mean resignation, it means making peace with what is before deciding how to respond. You cannot change the past, and sometimes you cannot control the future. But you can control your present actions, your thoughts, and your reactions. By accepting the present moment as it is, you free yourself from the mental burden of resistance. You stop fighting what can't be changed, and instead, you focus on what you can do now. Illustrative story. Consider the story of Viktor Frankl, a Holocaust survivor and psychiatrist. While imprisoned in concentration camps, Frankl faced unimaginable suffering. Yet, he found a way to rise above it. He realized that while he couldn't control his circumstances, he could control his attitude towards them. His acceptance of the present, combined with his decision to find meaning in the pain, led him to survive and ultimately help others. Benefits of acceptance. Acceptance allows us to stop wasting energy on things we cannot change. It brings peace, reduces stress, and helps us move forward with clarity. By accepting reality, we find freedom in the present moment. Practical application. Start by accepting the small things you can't change. When faced with a challenge, ask yourself, can I change this? If yes, take action. If no, let go of the resistance and focus on how you can respond in a way that aligns with your values. Next, let's dive into part 10, Choose Compassion, even for yourself, where we'll explore how self-compassion leads to healing and growth. Part 10, Choose Compassion, even for yourself. How often do you treat yourself with kindness when you make a mistake? We're quick to forgive others, but often harsh on ourselves. But what if the key to true healing and growth is choosing compassion for yourself, especially in your moments of failure? Explanation of the principle. Buddhism teaches that compassion begins with yourself. We are often our harshest critics, replaying our mistakes and berating ourselves for not being perfect. But self-compassion isn't about making excuses for your mistakes. It's about recognizing that you are human and allowing yourself the grace to learn and grow. When you show yourself compassion, you create a space for healing. You stop feeding self-doubt and negative self-talk, and instead, you nourish your spirit with kindness. Illustrative story. Consider the story of Jackie Chan, a famous martial artist and actor. Throughout his career, Jackie faced countless failures and injuries. But rather than giving up or criticizing himself, he chose compassion. He recognized that mistakes and struggles were part of the journey. His resilience wasn't built on perfection, but on his ability to rise after each fall. Benefits of self-compassion. Self-compassion helps you move through challenges with a calm heart and mind. It reduces stress, improves emotional well-being, and encourages growth. When you treat yourself kindly, you can approach life with more patience and understanding. Practical application. Start by being mindful of how you talk to yourself. When you make a mistake, pause and offer yourself the same kindness you would offer a friend. Instead of criticism, say, "It's okay, I'm learning and I'll try again." Next, let's explore part 11. Break the cycle by breaking the thought, where we'll discover how changing our thoughts can transform our lives. Part 11. Break the cycle by breaking the thought. How often do you find yourself stuck in a negative thought loop? I'm not good enough, I always fail, or what's the point of trying? These thoughts can be powerful, but what if you could break that cycle and choose a new path? Explanation of the principle. Buddhism teaches that our thoughts shape our reality. When we consistently think negative or limiting thoughts, they begin to define our experience. But the good news is that thoughts are not permanent. They're habits. Just like any habit, they can be changed. By becoming aware of your thoughts, you can stop reacting to them and instead choose how to respond. When a negative thought arises, pause and ask yourself, is this thought true? Is it helpful? If not, let it go and replace it with a more empowering thought. Illustrative story. Take the example of Thomas Edison, the inventor of the light bulb. Edison faced failure after failure in his quest to invent the light bulb. But instead of believing the thought, "I'll never succeed," he saw each failure as a lesson. He chose to reframe his thoughts and kept moving forward until he succeeded. His persistence, shaped by his positive thoughts, led to one of the greatest inventions of all time. Benefits of breaking negative thoughts. When you break the cycle of negative thinking, you free yourself from limiting beliefs. You begin to shift your focus from what's wrong to what's possible. This opens the door to new opportunities, growth, and peace. Practical application. Start by observing your thoughts. When a negative thought arises, don't accept it immediately. Pause, challenge it, and replace it with a more positive and constructive thought. Over time, this will change the way you see yourself and the world. Next, we move on to part 12, Return to the Breath, where we'll explore how mindfulness of breath can anchor us in peace, no matter what life brings. Part 12, Return to the Breath. When life feels overwhelming, where do you turn? In moments of stress, anxiety, or confusion, we often look outside ourselves for relief. But what if the key to returning to peace lies within you? in something as simple as your breath. Explanation of the principle. Buddhism teaches that the breath is more than just air moving in and out of your lungs. It is your anchor to the present moment, a tool to reconnect with your inner peace. When you focus on your breath, you bring yourself back to the now, away from worries about the past or future. The breath doesn't judge you or carry expectations. It's always there, always present. By tuning into your breath, you can calm your mind, reduce stress, and regain clarity. It is your most accessible tool for mindfulness, always available, no matter the circumstances. Illustrative story. The story of Buddhist monks who practice breath meditation is a perfect example. For centuries, they have used their breath to stay grounded, even in the most challenging situations. During moments of stress or hardship, these monks focus on their breath to maintain inner peace. Through this practice, they find calm amidst chaos and clarity amid confusion. Benefits of focusing on the breath. Focusing on your breath helps calm the nervous system, reduce anxiety, and bring clarity to your mind. By breathing deeply and mindfully, you can anchor yourself in the present moment and find peace no matter what's happening around you. Practical application. Whenever you feel stressed, take a moment to close your eyes and focus on your breath. Take a slow, deep breath in, hold for a second, and exhale gently. Repeat this for a few minutes, noticing how it brings calm to your mind and body. As we come to the end of our journey, let's wrap things up in the conclusion, where we'll reflect on how these 12 principles can transform your life and guide you toward lasting peace. Conclusion. As we've explored throughout this journey, the 12 Buddhist principles offer a roadmap to immediate transformation. Each principle provides a valuable tool for reshaping your mind, spirit, and life. From letting go of control to embracing pain, simplifying your life, and returning to your breath, each step brings you closer to peace. Did you find a principle that resonated with you? Perhaps the idea of sitting in solitude or breaking free from old identities? These teachings are not just concepts. They are invitations to experience life in a new way. When you choose to apply them, even in small ways, you begin to shift your mindset and transform your reality. I want to thank you deeply for joining me in this exploration. You've already taken the first step toward a more mindful and peaceful life simply by engaging with these ideas. Now, I encourage you to take one of these principles and begin applying it in your life today. Which principle will you start with? How can you make it a part of your daily routine? Transformation doesn't happen overnight, but with small, consistent changes, you will begin to see lasting results. Remember, the path to a peaceful, fulfilled life starts from within. It begins with the willingness to change, grow, and embrace new ways of thinking and being. Thank you for being here. Please consider subscribing to Son.Mindfulness and continue to follow for more inspiring content. I'd love to hear your thoughts. What principle resonated with you the most? Feel free to share your reflections in the comments below. Wishing you peace, health, and happiness on your journey. May you always find strength, clarity, and joy in every step you take. Thank you.